Thanks for joining us at Right On Replicas, where we're proud to bring you the best scale model kit reviews on the planet. This review covers the Moebius 53-foot smooth side trailer kit number 1303. This was released a few years ago, but you can still find them widely available and even order them from Moebius site itself. It's a 125 scale kit and a skill level 3 rating for advanced builders. It contains over 130 parts molded in white, chrome, and clear with vinyl tires. It's a highly accurate undercarriage featuring cross members with this kit, an angled brace landing gear, and a tandem axle configuration. It has realistic soft tires that mount on really nice chrome rims. And this version has smooth side panels and an optional refrigerator unit known as the Reefer. The instructions are really nice. It's a booklet style with lots of color pages and callouts for decals and construction. The decals are pretty basic and include only marker stripes and basic factory markings. There's no company logos or custom decals with this one. When you're done, it will be a massive 26.5 inches long, 4.5 inches wide, and 6.5 inches high. And when paired with a donor tractor, you'll need 3 feet of shelf space. Here are the decals for this kit. The color is good and the registry is good too. And we'll be using Model Master liquid cement for most of the construction, sometimes super glue for strength and gaps. And always remember to follow the manufacturer's safety and use guidelines when using any of the products you see or hear mentioned in the review. Note that as we go through construction, there's some extra ejection tabs and mold tabs that are hanging on many of the parts, so you'll need to clean the parts well prior to assembly of all the unneeded tabs, and most just easily pop off, but with this molding the process tends to give a cleaner look when finished if you just clean them up as you go along. The build begins with the trailer's box being assembled, and you need to decide now if you want to do a dry or reefer style box. So you'll need to drill out the holes noted here on the front panel and on the floor of the reefer version. As you can see, the detail of the riveting and panel lines is pretty nice. So we're going to try and preserve that by using a primer sealer that etches the plastic instead of sanding it to give the color coat paint a bite surface. So we use a primer sealer combination, and then when that's dry, just use a scuff pad to smooth things out and take a little shine off to provide adhesion for the color coats. You get a choice here of either roll-up doors or the double doors, swinging doors for the rear, so you get to choose which one you want to use for your trailer. There are also some optional reinforcement bars, so if you use them, cut out the slots in both sides of the roof and then primer the side panels, the floor panel, the top panel, the front and rear panels, and then the optional reinforcement bars if you use those. Paint the aluminum side rails and tape off the sides, and then paint the underside flat black. The reinforcement bars are installed if used, and the roof unit is painted aluminum too. We'll paint the side panels aluminum, and then we're going to tape off the rails and paint the rest of the panels white. Now we'll paint the front and back panels. So paint the lower rail on the front aluminum and the framing for the doors aluminum, and then tape off the areas to remain aluminum, and the front panel on these can be either all aluminum or the trailer side color, as can the rear doors. So with the side walls painted white here, I used a steel color to paint the connection unit and the latches on the front panel. Use a black pen and highlight the inspection door, and on the back door the hinges, locks, and the lock bars are steel colored, and the inspection door is highlighted with a black pen. So the rubber bumper stops, they're painted flat black on the hinges and the inspection door. For construction of the trailer box, start with the roof upside down and attach the front panels, and then attach both side panels in place. And note that the panels go with the end with most rivets to the front, and add the back doors. Now attach the floor, and the trailer should line up straight fairly easily, as there are some alignment pins to use on all the parts. Note that the rims and the tires then are assembled next in the instructions, but I'm going to deviate from that. Now we'll assemble the chassis unit and paint it, and the completed unit is flat black and can be done in sub-assemblies and for strength. So assemble the airbags and install them onto the frame, then assemble the axles and suspension arms and attach those to the frame and the airbags. Now attach the shocks to the frame and suspension arms and brake mechanisms to the axles. Paint this as a unit and set to dry. Then assemble the brake actuators and attach the actuator rods to the actuators and paint that as a unit. And the suspension lock and mud flaps get painted by themselves too. Now install the brake actuator units to the suspension arm. Add the suspension lock and the mud flaps, and the logos on the mud flaps can be left all flat black or highlighted with white. They're made either way on the real trailers, and the suspension side rails are flat black. The rear bumper is aluminum, and the air tank is assembled then and painted aluminum too. Install the slide rails onto the underside and add the air tank, then install the suspension unit and then add the bumper too. Get out these pieces to build the landing gear, so assemble the gear cover to the gear unit on both landing gears and add the gearbox into place. Now attach the landing gear in place on the underside, but don't glue them. Install the cross brace to the landing gear and add the gear drive shaft. Now decide if you want extended legs or retracted legs and install those in place. If you choose the extended ones, it will be for sitting by itself, and where retracted ones are used for attaching a semi-cab for display. Now remove the unit when the glue is dry and paint it flat black and install this to the underside of the box. Now we'll swing back and pick up that tire construction, and to give the tires a used road look, press and roll the tread on a flat surface on some fine sandpaper like a 220 grit to rough it up. Now the tires are non-directional, but they do only have printing molded on one side, so the printed side goes on the outside and both inner and outer tires. Now paint the brake hub flat black and insert the front rim into the printed side of a tire and install the shallow rims on the back on the inner side. So insert the back rim into a tire printed side out and the thicker rim to the back to the inside. Now superglue the rims together for the dual tires. Add a brake hub to the back of the rim inside and do this to all 4 sets of tires. Now snap the 4 dual tire sets into place on the axles and complete the suspension. Now we can complete the rear of the trailer, so paint the tail lights and the 7 marker lights with stoplight red color, and the grab bar is steel colored. Now install the grab bar onto the rear door, and there are 3 marker lights on the rear top and the tail lights are in the bumper. There are 2 marker lights per side and 1 on the top and 1 on the bottom corners. If you're building the Reefer version, you'll need the Reefer's fuel tank for that, and for a dry box you won't use it, but assemble and paint the tank aluminum and paint the gear crank steel, and then pick either a small or a large kingpin and paint it steel. Then install the Reefer tank and the kingpin into place and install the crank handle. And as I'm using the trailer in hauling mode, I bent the crank very carefully at the swivel point and tucked it in against the bottom rail as it would be seen in normal use. So if you're using the trailer without a rig, you'd just install it straight. Using these parts, we'll install the side markers and the logo. The 4 markers are painted turn signal orange as they are on the mid markers, and the mid markers have a black frame. So the logo is red for the Reefer and green for the dry box, and install the side markers, 1 to the top and 1 to the bottom corner. Then add the logo to each side and add the mid markers into place. The Reefer option is the last one for assembly, and if you decided to use it, paint the unit off-white with black grills. The steps in the grab bar are steel, and then install the steps in the grab bar to the front of the trailer and insert the grills into the unit and install that onto the front. The decals are next, and as some of these go over some of the detail like the rivets, etc., you may find a benefit in using some of the aftermarket setting solutions to help those conform to the surface and stick better to your model. But in any case, use plenty of warm water. Take your time. Do the longer ones first, and then once you're finished, I would give the overall box a coat of sealer, either a liquid type of spray, clear spray, or even some of the floor polish from Future that you spray through a gun. You'll have a few pieces left over from the build, and certainly have the rear door there as an extra piece that you didn't use for that, but your model should be complete at this point. Well, there you have it. Moebius has come up with a nice trailer kit. The fit and finish is very good. There are no construction issues whatsoever. Overall, the build is quite easy. Could be done in a weekend. Unlike most of the competition, the box is a solid side unit. Oftentimes these panels are multiple parts and alignment can be an issue. The suspension is solid, assembles nicely, and once completed sits perfectly in place with the large alignment tabs, and the landing gear allows for display in an up or down mode for use with your supplied tractor or not. Now, the tires and rims are nice quality. There's no blemishes on the chrome, and the rubber tires are nice and realistic. The only issue was there really were no extra decals that could be used to mark the Reefer unit, but that's just a matter of aftermarket products. So overall, a great addition to the big rig category for modelers, and with the supplied donor kit here not included of the cab, a massive 3 feet of shelf space is needed. We hope you like this premium step-by-step model kit review, and so that you don't miss any more, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. But you can find us on Facebook and at our website, rightonreplicas.com. Thanks!